Okay, so we are learning about buying and selling. Buying and selling is really important to economics. So let's start with talking about buyers and sellers. In economics, we use bigger words to describe buyers and sellers. We use the word consumer for a buyer. So if you're a buyer, you're a consumer. When you go to the supermarket, you're a consumer. Sellers or makers are known as producers. So Apple, the company Apple produces iPhones. They're known as a producer because they're a maker of a product or a seller of a product. So buyers and sellers do business in what we call a market, an economic market or a marketplace. Like we've heard of the word market before, like supermarket, stock market, black market. But a market is where people buy and sell things. So in our economic system, buyers and sellers exchange money for goods and services. So what sellers and buyers produce, or sorry, what producers make, what sellers and producers make is based on what consumers want to buy and what they want and what they need. Buyers and sellers have an important relationship in our economy because sellers get what they need from buyers, but buyers make money from sellers. And so it's an economic cycle that's very important. What do we sell in the economic marketplace? Well, we sell goods and services. Goods are a physical item that can be bought. There are two types of goods, durable goods and non-durable goods. The word durable means strong or lasting. So when we buy a durable good, it's expected that item is going to last more than 3 years. When we buy a non-durable good, the expectation is it's not going to last 3 years. Now that's meaning that it's used in the way it was intended to use. So for instance, a durable good would be a computer. If I buy a computer, it's a high-priced item. If it's well made and I treat it well and I use it as it's intended, then it should last for more than 3 years. A pencil, on the other hand, if I use a pencil as it was intended and I use it, sharpen it, erase, use it, sharpen it, erase, over time it's going to go down into a little nub and then I'm going to throw it away. Okay, so that's a non-durable good. When I use it the way it's intended, if it doesn't last 3 or more years, then it is a non-durable good, like a bag of chips is a non-durable good. A car would be a durable good. It's meant to last 3 or more years. Services is when people sell work in exchange for payment. So if you mow someone's lawn and get paid, you're providing them with a service. A hairdresser that cuts someone's hair is providing a service. A taxi cab driver is providing a service. So that's what's sold in the economic marketplace. Goods are tangible or actual items like food, cars, clothes, video games, televisions. And then services are work that's done for payment, like a teacher or a doctor or a dentist. Okay. There's some informational videos in the study section this week for buying and selling that you can watch there. The next thing to talk about that's an important concept of economics is what we call supply and demand. Supply is how much of something there is available. So right now I'm actually teaching from in the middle of the COVID-19 virus stay at home. So one thing that's in low supply right now would be toilet paper. No one can buy toilet paper right now because it's in such low supply. Why is it in such low supply? Because there's a very high demand for it. Lots of people want it. So supply means how much of something is available. Demand means how much people want it. And right now people want toilet paper a lot. So there's a high demand and a low supply. Now, how does that affect the cost of something? Well, if something is in very high demand and lots of people want it and there's not a lot of supply, what do you think that the seller can do to the price? Do you think that they would lower the price or that they would raise the price? They would raise the price. They would raise the price because if lots of people want it and there's not much around, then it's an issue where they could charge more for that item and people who want it are going to have to pay it. Okay. So again, there's some more videos you can see in the study section. Here's a little bit of an example. Okay. So the relationship between supply and demand. Consumers and customers need and want things. That's all what economics is. How do we get what we need and we want? Producers and businesses make things. If people want it or need it, then somebody is going to sell it. If nobody wants it, then nobody is going to sell it. So what's an example of that? Let's say that I wanted to go to the mall today and buy a pair of glass pants. Would I be able to buy a pair of glass pants if I went to the mall today? The answer is no, because no one sells glass pants. No one decided to make glass pants because glass pants is a really stupid purchase, right? Nobody wants glass pants. They're see-through, so that's gross. They're breakable. They're sharp. They're probably expensive, and they're cold. Like when you put them on your legs, they're going to be cold. So because nobody wants glass pants, there's no demand for it. And because there's no demand for glass pants, no one is supplying it. No one is selling it. No one is making it. Okay. Likewise, if nobody, like here's another example, fidget spinners. If I went and tried to buy a fidget spinner online, I could buy one, but would I have to pay a lot for it? No, I wouldn't. I would pay next to nothing for it because they made so many of them when it was the biggest rage in 2016 to have fidget spinners. But now that they're out of style, nobody wants them. So the demand is really low, but the supply is really there. So that means the seller can sell it for less. Okay. So here's a little bit more. I use the same example if it was a pair of pepperoni pants. Let's say the owner of Walmart buys 100 pair of pepperoni pants to sell in their store because she thinks they're going to be wildly popular, but then no one buys them. It means that the demand for them is low, but Walmart has a lot of them to sell and the supply is high. So in that case, if Walmart wants to get rid of them, they're going to have to put them on a sale so that it increases the demand, because maybe someone doesn't want to spend $40 for a pair of pepperoni pants, but they would spend $5 for a pair of pepperoni pants. So when we have too much of something, that is known as surplus. When we don't have enough of something, a shortage is known as scarcity. So the supply and demand relationship is a little bit tricky, but if you really think about it, if lots of people want it, then you can charge more for it. If not many people want it, you're not going to charge much for it. Okay, so supply and demand. Let's go to the next one. I guess we're up for review. So the economic market is made up of buyers and sellers. We call those consumers and producers. Consumers are buyers, producers are sellers. Consumers are the ones that buy, and producers are the ones that make. Businesses and producers can either sell goods or services. Good is an item I can hold in my hand, or it's an item that's tangible that can be touched. And a service is when you pay for work to be done. The market is a balance between supply and demand. So producers and consumers have that relationship. If consumers really want it, then producers will make it. If consumers don't want to buy it, producers will stop making it or not make it at all. When there's a shortage of something, it's called scarcity. And when there's a extra amount of something, you have lots of extra, that's called a surplus. Let's see what else. So just take a quick look at the quiz time. You'll need to know what a good is, what a service is. I'm going to give you some pictures on the quiz that show goods and services. You're going to need to tell me which they are. You're going to need to tell me the difference between durable and non-durable good. Remember, durable is strong and lasting. It's supposed to last 3 or more years, whereas a non-durable good gets used up, and it's supposed to be used under 3 years. You're going to need to know what's another term for consumer, for producers, the definition of supply and demand, scarcity, surplus. It's a big vocabulary week, so I suggest you go on Quizlet and practice your vocabulary, okay? So that is it. Thank you for learning about buying and selling. There are more resources in the study tab on Google Classroom, and you can watch this again. If you don't understand something, you can give me an email. Thanks.